History is full of firsts.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Many of those firsts shaped our way of life. For 70 years, KPRC Channel 2 has been proud to be pioneers in shaping television and Houston history.
In a state the size of Texas, I hope everyone can enjoy.
Calls in the storms Thursday. Minutes before 9 o'clock, the crew's here telling her.
Because of the first town hall, they had 11. You'll see this some of your
Isn't it good to work for a place that has a sense of history? And indeed it is.
See, taking the president from Spring to College Station following his...
If you have something you'd like Channel 2 Investigates to check out, call the tip line at 713-223-TIPS or email investigates@click2houston.com. Channel 2 News begins right now with breaking news.
We are following breaking news at 6 o'clock. This out of Brazoria County near County Road 568 and FM 1462. Deputies telling us one person has been shot and killed. We're told several people have been detained in connection to the shooting. Investigators say a family disturbance that had been going on for days may have led to this incident. We have a crew headed to the scene right now, and we'll bring you updated information as we learn more.
He is a criminal contractor who bilked dozens of victims out of their hard-earned money. Now he's headed to prison, giving some closure to the families that he targeted in the Spring and Tomball areas.
Only Channel 2 was there in the courtroom today when Benjamin Wood pleaded guilty to the charges against him. We've been tracking him since last summer when I reported on his arrest.
And now Wood is fessing up to his shady practices. Channel 2's Joel Eisenbaum live downtown with what happens next. Joel?
Dominique, really what happens next is that this guy, Benjamin Wood, spends a number of years behind bars while his former clients and his former partners get virtually nothing in terms of payback except perhaps some small measure of justice.
Mr. Wood is very remorseful.
In court today to plead guilty to felony theft, a contractor, if you can call him that.
These were all lies. These were all lies that he was feeding everybody, apparently.
More accurately, 36-year-old Benjamin Andrew Wood is a thief. Even his own lawyer, who helped arrange the 10 years behind bars plea deal, knows that.
He did some things that he definitely should not have done.
We have a total of 26 victims and about $180,000 of stolen money and goods and services from individuals.
And I'm glad that he is behind bars.
At Loomcraft, a family-owned flooring company, Christine Van Loo is one of more than 24 victims in Harris and Montgomery counties who got suckered by Wood. Bad checks and phony sob stories were the name of his game.
He finally told me that he had been in the hospital because they discovered a tumor on his brain.
Loomcraft lost $5 grand in flooring. So many small businesses took it on the chin.
Pretty detrimental to us because we're a small company.
But Monday, finally, they got Wood.
10 years, though, I think is a good, time, but he could have gotten longer for everybody that he affected.
Wood was part of that shifty group of contractors who worked in our area post-Hurricane Harvey. He just got the same 10-year sentence in Montgomery County. He'll serve those years concurrently. He is in custody tonight. We're live downtown. I'm Joel Eisenbaum, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
Thank you, Joel. And now to breaking news. HISD confirming the arrest of a school staff member. The charge, indecency with a child.
The incident that employee is accused of happened at Foster Elementary. That's on Houston's south side. Our Sion Rhodes live on that campus with the very latest. Sion.
And according to court documents, we're learning that incident happened allegedly here at Foster Elementary back in February of last year. But HISD telling us tonight that this employee was arrested today and has currently been working at Lockhart Elementary. That is not far from here. Now, court documents telling us that a kindergarten student telling her mother sometime last year that this suspect, James Bradley, touched her on her private parts. The little girl later telling investigators that it had happened several times and that it, quote, made her feel sad. Now, again, we understand Bradley was arrested by HISD police. He's been charged with indecency to a child, and he's currently being held at the Harris County Jail. Now, as far as how Bradley was able to go work at another HISD school, while there was apparently an ongoing investigation underway, we have not heard back answers from that from HISD. We're still working to learn more. For now reporting live, Sion Rhodes, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
Weather once again impacting your life this week, starting with fog issues.
And on deck, yet another cold front.
Right.
Frank is here timing it out for us.
Well, here's the fog. You can see Galveston. That's the beach, which you can't see very well. I know, right? and you can see a few headlights making their way down Seawall Boulevard. So the fog has already inundated the island. It's going to continue to be an issue, probably right on through tomorrow night when the front finally comes down there. You can see quarter-mile visibility is about it. It's starting to go down a bit. Anahuac at 5 miles. Dense fog advisories from Bolivar down towards Surfside and Freeport. So that's until at least 9 o'clock tonight. I expect that will be extended. In the meantime, we have mid-70s right now. It's pleasant across the area. Saw a little bit of sunshine today. Right now, temperatures go down to 74 at 7, 71 at 9, and 70 at 11. So it's going to be a mild evening for sure. And then there is that cold front. We'll talk more about this coming up, but you can see 50s, Lubbock, Oklahoma City, Amarillo. So that cold air is coming in. The issue is it puts cool air in place, and then we put this warm flow off the Pacific on top of it. That's what makes a bit of a mess, especially Wednesday and Thursday. So a slow morning commute because of the fog, but Tuesday's fog busting front is still on schedule for late tomorrow night at midweek umbrella timeline straight ahead. Andy?
All right, Frank, thanks so much. Now to a developing story in Baytown. The search for a hit-and-run driver who hit a man in broad daylight and left him seriously injured on the side of the road. That terrible crash happened on Highway 146 in Alexander. Our Marianne Martinez live in that area where the hit-and-run happened over the weekend. Marianne.
Andy, that young man has now been released from that hospital after the hit and run. Now, this all happened on Saturday when that man was pulled over here, checking out the tailgate on his truck. That's when a second truck drove by and hit him. This is what 20-year-old Ray Rios looked like after he was hit by a truck and left behind.
These guys had no care in their face whatsoever. The passenger, he just looked out the window like, oh, okay.
This woman does not want her face shown, but she says she saw Rios get hit Saturday by a tan four-door truck with 2 men inside. It happened around 11 a.m. Saturday at this Chevron off Highway 146 in Alexander in Baytown.
He laid there for, I don't know, I would say 4 minutes and got up and walked back to, I'm assuming, his truck that he was working on and somehow drove home.
He somehow dragged himself back into his own pickup truck, and all he wanted to do was come home to us.
Ray was hospitalized and is now back home. Although his mother is grateful he's alive, she also wants justice.
I just want this person found, or persons, we believe is more than one, found, and, you know, take responsibility for what they did.
Trey's mother says he will turn 21 on February 21st, and she says they plan to have a big party for him to celebrate the fact that he is alive. And of course, what would be a better birthday present than for there to be some sort of an arrest or ID on the people involved in this. Reporting live in Baytown, Marianne Martinez, KPRC Channel 2 News.
Keep us posted, Marianne. Thank you. We are still learning more about a tragic crash in Liberty County that left 4 people dead. The violent collision left several cars mangled, and as you can see from these photos, courtesy of Bluebonnet News, this crash happened early this morning, right around 6:30 along Highway 146, just south of Dayton. Dayton police tell us a man driving southbound right along the highway veered out of his lane and hit another truck head-on. Both drivers and 2 passengers were killed. Another car was also hit, but that driver was not injured. Investigators tell us they do not believe weather was a factor in this crash.
Friends and family are honoring the lives of a Sugar Land mother and her son who were killed inside of their home. Today they gathered for a memorial service for Diana Logan and her son Aaron. It was held at River Point Church in Richmond. As we've reported, Sugar Land police say Richard Logan shot his wife Diana and their son before driving to San Marcos. That's where police say Richard Logan physically attacked his adult daughter, then committed suicide at a different location.
Jury selection is set to begin tomorrow in the trial for a chemical plant, Arkema, and 3 of its employees over fires at that company's Crosby plant. The company is accused of releasing air pollution during Hurricane Harvey. Today, prosecutors and defense attorneys wrapped up their pretrial motions. In August of 2018, Arkema's CEO and plant manager were indicted for recklessly releasing toxic chemicals into the air. The company's vice president of logistics was also charged with felony assault because prosecutors said his actions put the community at risk. If convicted, they could face up to 5 years in prison. The company could also be fined $1 million.
The fallout from the Astros sign stealing scandal continues. Tonight, another lawsuit has been filed against the team.
This one is actually coming from a fan, a season ticket holder. Adam Wallach is asking for $1 million in damages. The lawsuit claims the team deceptively overcharged for season tickets while engaging in sign stealing. We asked our KPRC legal analyst Brian Weiss if this case has any legs to stand on.
Texas Supreme Court, the state's highest court for civil cases, has made it virtually impossible to bring class action lawsuits in these kinds of cases.
Now, the lawsuit also invites other partial and full ticket holders to join the claim. We reached out to the Astros, and they said they do not comment on pending legal matters.
And I'm Randy McAvoy. We're live in West Palm Beach tonight. Astros camp got a little more crowded today as full squad workouts officially began. All the position players in camp joining in, including George Springer, who's in the last year of his contract. What he told us today about his future with the Astros. Ahead in sports.
And it's 80 degrees where Randy is, but it's 76 where we are. It's going to be a mild evening, but it's going to be foggy. Here's a look at Galveston already. We'll talk about that. And when it cools down and gets a little wetter around here, straight ahead.
Tragedies like the Santa Fe High School shooting sparked debate over guns in schools, but a closer look at the numbers shows another troubling trend. Channel 2 investigates next on Channel 2 News at 6.
Hotel. You're watching Channel 2, Houston's home for news.
Columbine, Parkland, Santa Fe, school names forever etched in our memories. But those tragedies don't tell the whole story about gun deaths in our schools.
A closer look at the numbers shows another troubling trend. Channel 2 investigator Robert Arnold broke down the numbers from the past 50 years to see where these shootings are happening and why.
It changes the way you look at everything.
The consequences are permanent.
Loud noises, I can't stand to hear a balloon pop.
The pain is lasting.
That thing that you can't comprehend happening, it can't happen.
Flo Rice survived the incomprehensible. She was a substitute teacher at Santa Fe High School.
After being shot in both legs, I'm getting around better. I'm still in physical therapy.
According to data compiled and analyzed by our colleagues at Graham Media Group, there have been at least 618 fatal shootings on school campuses since the 1960s. 68 were in Texas, 17 in the Houston area. Sadly, 2020 was barely underway when the death of Cesar Cortez at Bel Air High School added to this list.
We really didn't have any idea how to react. It was just so overwhelming.
While more than half of these fatal shootings happened at high schools, school shootings adhere to no boundaries.
Every time, it's heartbreaking.
Rice and her husband, Scott, have been instrumental in pushing for tougher laws regarding school safety. But hardening campuses against gun violence is only part of this debate.
When you find a weapon on campus, how often is it that that weapon comes from a student's home?
The overwhelming majority of the times it does come from the home.
HISD Police Chief Paul Cordova says cutting down on gun violence in school can begin at home by keeping your guns locked up, especially since the reason kids bring guns to school run the gamut.
It's not always a malicious reason. It may just be juvenile adolescent behavior, but it can have deadly consequences.
We need to normalize conversations around gun safety more so than gun violence.
Swati Narayan is with Moms Demand Action.
For a long time, we have not focused on gun ownership.
Narayan is also part of the Be Smart for Kids campaign, which teaches safe gun handling. This includes gun locks.
You could save your neighbor's child or your child or a child at school by just putting this on there.
Governor Greg Abbott awarded $1 million to the National Shooting Sports Foundation to distribute more than 600,000 gun locks in Texas. Scott and Flo Rice got 50 through the Galveston County Sheriff's Office and plan to hand them out at the county fair next month.
It's a step, and it's a measure, and it's a free one.
HISD is also now considering following a step taken by school districts in other states like California and Arizona, and that is sending home an annual document that parents would be required to sign acknowledging if a firearm is in the home, it needs to be properly secured and that it is illegal to allow a minor unsupervised access to firearms. If you'd like more information on the gun safety initiatives we mentioned, we have links for you on our homepage at click2houston.com. Robert Arnold, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
Thank you, Robert. We do want to take you back now to that breaking news out of Brazoria County. Deputies say one person was shot and killed near County Road 568 and FM 1462. Sky 2 now live over the scene.
Several people have been detained in connection to this shooting. Investigators say a family disturbance that had been going on for days may have led to the shooting. We have a crew headed to the scene right now, and we'll update you as soon as we learn more.
Frank joins us now as this holiday closes out. We've had some fog issues to deal with today, especially coastal.
You know, and if you look back at last February, it was the same thing. These warm winters are getting us, and it's going to continue until this front moves through tomorrow night, and then that'll be the end of it for a while.
Okay.
And then it'll be back probably next Monday.
Well,
right. This was taken last night. Isn't that beautiful sunset?
Gorgeous.
Up in Kingwood. So hopefully I'll get some tonight, maybe one or two.
All right.
I know.
Fingers crossed.
It was not bad. It's a little already. Ceilings are already low. 81, 80, and 70 for temperatures this afternoon. So we were warm, no question. Still are very mild. 74. South winds at 11. The dew point's at 79. So the humidity coming up 85%. It's just really ripe for this fog. There's a look at Galveston. There's Seawall Boulevard, and you can tell exactly what's going on there. 68. The dew point 67. Humidity 96%. So the fog has set in. Visibility's at a quarter mile. Right now, temperatures in the 70s just about everywhere you look. The exception is the island, and the dew point's in the 60s. So it's not going to take much for these numbers to drop down to their dew point. They'll release that condensation, and that's what's going to produce the fog, and not really enough strong wind to break it up. So I think between the fog coming in off the coast as well as just low clouds, it's going to be a bit of a mess tomorrow morning. So plan for a little extra time. It is going to at least be mild. Temperatures in the 70s and the 60s. Look for an overnight low of 66. The real rain doesn't kick in much until we get into Wednesday and especially Thursday, as you're going to see. There's the visibility currently. It's gone down a bit in Dayton, Anahuac at 5 miles, 6 in Pearland and Angleton. By 8 o'clock, pretty much all of us are going to be dealing with this. And as we go into tomorrow morning's commute, there's 11 p.m. 7 a.m. doesn't change much. A mile, mile and a quarter, mile and 3/4, 2 miles at Bush. Finally, once we get to 10, 11 o'clock, things begin to break up. Although at the island, just like today, I think you're going to stay with it pretty much all day. This is what clears things. That front coming in gets here late tomorrow night, makes it to the coast about midnight, 1 o'clock. And so any fog that is there tomorrow will finally be pushed on out of here. It does does set the stage with that cooler weather at the base. You get that Pacific moisture on top of it, and that's what gives us a really drizzly Wednesday. A little system riding right along the front brings in a 70% chance of heavier rain as we move into Thursday. But this high clears it all out as we move into Friday and Saturday. So at least we end up with a pretty nice weekend. It'll be on the cool side, but it will be on the dry side. So the Futurecast has spotty rains in here. There's the front at 7 o'clock, and we could certainly see a few thunderstorms with that tomorrow evening. Continues to move right down toward the coast by 11:30, pushes any fog on out of here, but the rain is going to be there. The heaviest, it looks like, to the north through Thursday, but you can see some of these amounts, especially Conroe and Huntsville, as we get up to Thursday, 1.5 inches, 2.7, 2.2, 2 inches to the north, a lot less than that as we go to the south, maybe a ½ an inch or less generally from I-10 and south. So keep the umbrellas handy right on through Thursday when we get that 70% chance of rain. Friday, the San Luis Salute looks like nice weather for that, 54 and 42. The Moments Parade that we are covering here looks like some nice stuff there. And then we get into a 20% chance Sunday night, and we continue with that right on into Monday, Tuesday with 72, 74. That's why I said probably next week we'll be dealing again with the fog. Same kind of setup with winds returning off the Gulf and those warm temperatures right where you need them to be to get that fog to develop.
Yeah, it's been a great winter, though.
Well, that's right.
If you're a flower.
You're an azalea.
I'm here. Sports Director Andy McAvoy in West Palm Beach for us.
The Astros still getting a lot of attention at spring training, Randy.
Yep.
They certainly are, guys, but you know, they made it clear today they don't want to really deal with the chatter anymore that's coming across the major leagues. They're locked in right now. Full squad workouts have started. They're focused in on this new baseball season. It's going to start in a matter of weeks now. Today, a big step towards that as full squad workouts began. We'll hear from the guys on the importance of being a family out here in West Palm Beach now more than ever. Sports coming up next.
It's